Hello everybody, and I am Pink. Welcome back to another video. This will mostly be a talking video. Today we're going to talk about 6 drawing tips, and this can be for aid and drawing in general, like redrawing a character or whatever. Um, I'm also going to do fancy handwriting, kind of give some tips on that, or how I do that. But let's get to the drawing tips. I have them written out here just because my handwriting's not always the greatest. So, alright, so the first one we'll discuss is obviously this one. Don't let anyone tell you your way is wrong or bad or not good enough. I have a few artists that says my way of doing, which is small layer and screen, and because I use the modes over here, up here more, because I use the modes, that's technically a bad way to do things, because I'm not technically picking up my colors myself. Well, with me personally, I could do that without no problem. If I honestly want to sit there and pick out each and every color and everything else, I could do that, no problem. It's the fact is that I don't want to do that, and it saves me time doing it that way, and I just think it's no big, what's the big deal of adding it to your own color, which is probably going to be the same thing anyway, than doing it in a mode and everything else. I mean, some of the modes are really cool, like the luminosity layer. It sometimes has a really cool light effect around that whole edges and everything. So, it's honestly, I don't think it's wrong. I don't feel like people should have to tell you, saying like you can't do it that way, you should do it this way. Maybe some feedback if they word it right. But if you feel like you can rock the way you do it, you do you. That's how it is. Keep working at it. Don't give up. If you can't get something, like I know a lot of people struggle with drawing in general. So I'm just gonna sketch it. And I'm like the type of person that it takes me a while to do anything. So, like, you know, I'm just, uh, I'm trying to draw the pirates, but it kind of didn't work out. We're just doing a small smile. Like, okay, if you don't like something, keep on working at it. It takes a bit, and it's not always gonna be perfect, and everything else, but don't give up. Like, keep working at it. Keep on, if, like, you're me, I literally have a sketch layer of the face, then I have another sketch layer of an outline, then I have another sketch layer of this, and then I have another sketch layer of that, and like I keep on building up layers till I get 100% perfect. And that's still technically to me a rough sketch for me, because my final stuff isn't until I line stuff with the line work layer, because I can't line with my tablet. But yeah, don't be afraid. Don't feel like you're doing something wrong. Don't feel like you can always ask for feedback and people can give it to you. But don't just toss it aside. I have so many people tell me that, they can't get it right, they're just gonna throw it away. Don't throw it away. Maybe take a break, come back. I have done that countless of times. When I just don't think I'm getting it right, I don't feel like, I'm doing it correctly. I feel like it looks like crap and everything else. Like, just do you. I mean, like, take your time, figure out how you want things, and it will like just kind of come to you. Like you'll figure it out. Like don't be afraid to like sit there and do it 10 million times over just for you to get better at it. Right? Take notes. Do whatever. Just don't give up. Next one I'm gonna do is learn your tools that you are given. I tell this once. I have said this a million times to people. They're like, "What do I do? I don't know how I start on this program." Play around. Do your tool. Play around with drawings that you may like, layers that you may not do. Like, good thing with like Sai and everything, they have all these brushes that you can like learn with, and something that you can't tell what they're doing. Like, all these brushes you can learn with, and you know, this, that, and other thing, and like, play around. Like, play around with your brushes, play around with your uh sayings and everything else. Like, don't be afraid to actually do like trying stuff new. Like, don't worry about it. Like, just try and see what comes out of it. The only reason why I know how to do half the stuff I know how to do is because I took what I learned from GIMP, and I pretty much changed, like, took what I knew from there and made it into Psy. Well, I didn't make it into Psy, but I mean, like, I figured out that I used the same modes for GIMP as I do in Psy, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I started looking. If you break it down, like, as you're doing a chore, it's like, okay, I gotta do the dishes, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. So much to do. If you do the dishes, then break it down, look at your brushes, play around. I mean, even if you're playing around on an A, like, just work on it, just play with it, and do what you can. Know your little tools a little bit better. Know what you're going, like, what you're working with, what you're given. Because you never know what you could do to change your whole style. Never stop improving and changing. This is a big one. Some people, especially with like aim, will totally just stop their moves. Like, they just don't have the effort to do anything anymore. Change it. If you don't feel like you're good, like if you don't know what you're doing, whatever, or you don't like it, change it. Like, like, I keep on saying because I keep on losing my train of thought because I'm trying not just to sit here and talk. But try new things. Ask your friend how they do their hair or eyes, or maybe start on a new program. Maybe work on doing things a different way. Like, improve. If you don't like how you're doing things, or if you find an editor or drawer or artist that you think is so amazing, keep working on it. Like, we're honestly not all born artists. We grow into it and we work from there. Some of us are better than others just because we've been doing it for years. Some of them can pick up a pen and be like, I can draw like God. And that's okay too. Not everybody has that gift. I mean, like, take it from me, I have a really good friend of mine who draws really well, and I love her style and everything else. And the cool thing about, because I edit, and I know she's not always on board for it, but cool thing about that is that because I edit, I learn how to draw, and she knows, like, well, I learn how to color, and she loves the way I color. So I do a lot of collabs with her art all the time, and yeah, I mean, you may do stuff like that. I mean, some artists think it's really cool what we do with, like, editors and everything else. Some don't. I mean, it's just kind of like one of those things where, you just gotta, you know, keep working at it, keep changing it, keep doing you. If you have the heart for it, don't give up on it. Alright, use refs. Now, this is another big one. How do you draw, like, your add-ons and everything else? Simple. If I don't know how to draw it, I use riffs. I use common knowledge, for me, common knowledge, for pretty much anything. I mean, like, I know cat ears are more round, more pointy than dog ears are. Dog ears are a little bit more rounder at the tip. Um, as simple as, like, dogs, tails are maybe a little bit more fluffier depending on the breed of the dog than, and, when you draw a cat tail is super long and skinny, unless if they want like a fox tail. I mean, if you don't know how to draw something, look up refs. Like, don't be afraid to look up stuff and see how, like, the best thing I think it would be good at, it would be probably looking up people that make, like, if you're looking at, like, add-ons for ears and tail, look up the people that actually make those hand and, like, for real life add-ons, like the real life ears and tails for like furry costumes and everything else, because they would really it would really like pretty much point you in a new direction of like, oh well, I can draw it like that and everything else. Like, don't be afraid to practice. Don't be afraid to do anything. Like, just look it up. Don't be just because you want to draw from like original stuff doesn't mean you can't use the base. This is a touchy topic, but I mean, like, some editors I know that can change the whole picture, myself included, if I honestly wanted to. They honestly want to change the whole picture and only use like the body of the base, and that's all they use. It's just like the pose. And technically, in the drawing world, in the artist world, that's okay because that's called base coloring, because pretty much, you're taking a base and you're using it. It's just that because one thing is only, some bases only have the skin drawn, some bases only have like the body drawn. You have to draw in the hair and the eyes and the clothes and the lips. So I mean, like, technically, it like it's kind of the same thing, but not maybe. It's a touchy topic between artists and editors, but yeah, I mean, don't be afraid. Like, don't feel like you have to draw it all from your head just because you want to be original. So, I mean, kind of nobody's original, but you'll still be happy that it will be your own art instead of having someone like egging over or whatever. My last one, which I kind of got buried in this hair I did, um, don't be afraid to do something new or different. If you don't like something, which I had mentioned this before in the, like, during the video, if you don't like something, change it. If you are watching a friend and they do something and you're like, and you try it and you're like, I don't like it. And it's because, like, it doesn't look like theirs or whatever, or for whatever the reason is, and you just don't like it, change it. Find a way you do like it. Mix your style with their style and come up with your own style. I mean, don't be afraid to do new things. Don't be afraid to like take a different path, to try, like, this goes back to playing with your tools and everything. Just don't worry about it. Like, don't think it's going to be like frowned upon. Like, when I know me personally, I was really afraid to show people how I do hair and how I do and how I shade things and color things, because I like the way I do things, and I don't really see my stuff I don't really see my style a lot, but we kind of all have our own little style regardless. But it was like, I don't want to show people things and then they always keep it, and then, like, it's like you have like this whole trend that, it's the same thing everywhere. Like, but I mean, I know a lot of people want to help and it's not fair and everything else, so I really wanted to help out. But it still was the fact that, I advise people that, this is the way I do it, but if you honestly don't like it, don't feel like you have to keep it just because I did. Or if they were doing something and I told them that, maybe you should try doing it this way, don't feel obligated that you have to do it that way because I'm telling you to do it that way. Like, do it whatever way you want it to be done. I mean, like, I'm just giving you my feedback and everything else. Or, like, if you learn something and you don't care for it, or if you just learn something in general and you love it, like, don't be afraid to turn around and, like, tweak it to make it your own instead of, like, it's kind of like when you're going from editing to drawing. It kind of is, it's exactly like that. It's like, instead of using someone else's idea or method or whatever, you want to use your own. And so, like, you feel so much better when you figure out something that is yourself like that you made personally, it becomes your thing. And like, just don't be afraid. I mean, regardless of anything I said here, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do your thing. Don't let people put you down. Don't let If you feel like you're doing what you're doing and you like what you're doing, do it. Rock it. Be you. As I tell people all the time, just do you. You do you. Because that's what, like, the best way it's gonna be. Like, you want to do things your way, and that's the way you want to do it. Like, you can get hints, you can get tips, you can ask questions, and I always divide that for people, or even with now with my videos and all that stuff. It's still the fact that, you can help, and you can still get help and still be okay. I mean, like, it's not a big deal to get help, but also don't do something if you don't like it. Don't keep it. I would always hate to have something if, like, people, like, if I make something and I don't like it, and I have to sit here and give it to somebody and I don't like it. I'm pretty sure I feel like they're not gonna like it because I for sure don't like it. Unless if they honestly are headstrong and want it to be that way. And that's another thing too I wanted to add. If you find somebody that wants it this way, and you're like, but I don't do it this way, I feel like it would be better this way, and you like it better that way, don't sit here and do something crappy just because somebody wants you to. Whether it be a request or whatever, it's like, don't put something you're unhappy with on the internet. Like, don't put something out there that you're not happy with. I mean, if you may not be happy with in the beginning, I would say give up. But I still like the fact that, keep trying and keep doing better. And if you don't fully like it, make it to where you do like it. Try your best and everything else. Ask for feedback. I can't say that enough. Just ask for feedback. Like, get opinions, just thoughts, just what you could do better and everything else. Alright. I think that's it for my tips. I may add more. I first was gonna do 12, but then I only could come up with this 6, and pretty much they honestly all wrap in together anyways. To me anyways, so this is that. Alright, seeing that I have this little guy Shade over here. He's a little punk rocker. We're going to work on... I'll keep this up. Fancy Rain. I don't really know what to say about Fancy Rain, but I know a few people had asked me how do I do my writing. And honestly, I have my stick. If you have a tablet, it's 10 times easier with your tablet than it is on without a tablet. So if you don't have a tablet, I'm sorry, but you probably should stick with fonts. But if you want to write your own stuff like I do, and you want to do it all fancy, there's tons of ways to do it. I personally have always kind of wrote like this, and always kind of made like curvy stuff and everything. And I honestly just make it out of swirls. Like for my ends, I'll like swirl it on the end. Or like my S's are pretty simple, but you can like make it like swirl on top. Or my B's are always like, if I can make it roof and like have it as like, not really a resting point, but like kind of like a guideline where my other letters would be. Like I do it for the B, I do it for the J, then I would, just because I think it's nicer that way. But I can't really tell you what I do exactly to do my like handwriting. I mean, it's not really my handwriting. My handwriting's a little bit more sloppier as time gets on and everything. But I think the stabilizer really helps. But I just do a lot of swirls and just kind of like have it go with the flow. I always kind of did swirls on everything I did. I always like swirls. I don't know why. But people try, like, I know people that do cursive, and I can't remember cursive. Let me do a name, I think. And like Amanda is such a easy name for cursive. People do cursive. I'm not very good. Obviously, I mean, I can do fancy letters, but I can't do cursive. Um, a good thing you could do is like maybe look at like a font you like. Now, a lot of fonts I have that are super fancy are like literally like we'll do and like and they're like super swirly. I guess that could be like a J and an F there. I don't, and they're super swirly with like little swirls on the end and everything. Um, so I would not recommend going in that much detail unless if you honestly want to. But I just kind of like go with the flow, and then and sometimes I do it 10 times over because I always don't like how it looks and everything, and then I just put it on a different mode and have it sit like that. So I always like orange because it always does this cool looking gold. But I can't really give a lot of tips on drawing or doing fancy handwriting, and I apologize because I know some people really want that. Well, one person requested it for sure, but I just, it's really more of the sense that it's usually always kind of like that, and I just kind of go with things, and yeah, I mean, and you can do like cool little things, like, it's kind of like, I feel like it can maybe old school, could be labeled as like old school writing when because like back in school everybody kind of did this like underneath their name and everything, or like people did like the tornado thing underneath their name, or like the little swirl with the little things in the middle. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry that I can't really be really detailed. I'm sorry this video is pretty much all me talking, but I really hope this all helped. And again, it's already, going on 22 minutes for this video. I always make long videos because I don't stop talking. But I hope you guys have a nice time, and I hope this kind of helps you. If you have any questions, please let me know, whether it be on Facebook, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be like in a private message or in my group. Please just let me know. I hope you stars are having a nice day, and if you're not, just remember that you can't shine without darkness behind you. And I really hope everything's doing well. I'll talk to you all guys later, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!